Alright guys, after the feedback I got from my previous video in regards to which language I used, I have decided it's far more worth it to just stick to the good old English format despite of how time consuming it is. So today I will be having a look straight into this brand new Drive Syndicate 12 and the car it features, the Arash Imperium, which is basically one of the best cars of the entire game for the reasons I will explain in 1 second. Unfortunately, this Drive Syndicate has some changes compared to the previous ones, so it won't be necessarily as rewarding, but I do really think it's worth to have a look into it, so with nothing else to add, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start by having a look at the brand new Drive Syndicate decal, which this time is different from what we can see at the special events tab of the game. On the mention tab, you can see that at the front of the car, right above the frontal air intake, there is like some sort of falcon, probably representing the Arash brand icon, but if you have a look into the actual decal of the car in-game, there is no trace of that falcon icon at all, and instead we can see the Drive Syndicate logo at the hood of the car. You know, it's a fairly minor detail, but I do really think that the decal would have been way cooler if it had the falcon. Just a thought though. Leaving this aside and before diving into the Arash Imperium performance and other Drive Syndicate details, I think it's appropriate to have a look into the rewards this syndicate has to offer. Because we have some blueprints of the required cars, but since Gameloft adjusted the total amount of blueprints needed to lock the new cars a couple of updates ago, I think it was, now it takes less blueprint to lock the car, while the total amount of blueprints needed to max the car remains the exact same, meaning that I still need way over 250 blueprints to improve the Pagani Zonda 5 to the maximum stars, but I will need less blueprints than usual to lock the car, meaning that I will need more blueprints to start up the car once I unlock it. Albeit some people think that this is a good change in order to help players to lock cars more easily, I am not quite fond of it if I am being completely honest with you guys, because I have the feeling that this is a double-edged sword in the sense that yeah, you can unlock the car, which at stock stats is useless in most of the cases, but then it becomes harder to start up because hey, Gameloft gave you the blueprints you needed to lock the car. I see this a bit of an excuse to give less blueprints through special events like on this Drive Syndicate 12, because on the Tartarus Drive Syndicate we could get 35 blueprints to help us to lock the McLaren Sabre, and on this Drive Syndicate we only get 17 Pagani 5 blueprints, which is way less helpful since the car still requires the same total amount of blueprints to be maxed out. Meaning that if you need to start up the Pagani 5 later on the Syndicate in order to progress, you will have to either spend Syndicate coins to buy packs and get those blueprints, or real money in order to start up the car to the 4th star, which is the bare minimum required in order to pass into the next chapter. Okay, so talking about the next chapter, right after this Pagani 5 on the Drive Syndicate 12, the other S-Class car you need to complete this event, aside of the Arash Imperium, which is the main Drive Syndicate car, is no more and no less than the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute, a car which shares a super OP feature with the main Drive Syndicate car that I will explain in a second. If you guys are hoping to reach this Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute key, please let me warn you that you will have to invest heavily real life money in order to get it, even if you have the lower cars excluding the new Pagani 5 max out. It's extremely hard to say how much money could be required to unlock the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute, but I wouldn't go any lower than $400 just counting the bundles you will have to purchase for the Pagani Zonda 5 and the Jesko Absolute startups needed to reach the 4th star. If you have less than that, I obviously doubt it will get any cheaper, honestly. In my case, where I am only missing the DS Turbo and the Pagani Zonda 5, I will max the former and 4 star later, and then I will just go all in for the Imperium, so I can already tell you guys that I expect this Drive Syndicate to cost me like 70 bucks to get to the Arash Imperium key. From that point onwards, every single Arash Imperium star upgrade will cost 200 bucks more or less, or to basically purchase $100 bundles twice for each star. The good thing is that the epic import parts are no longer a problem, since it's possible to upgrade cards to their maximum performance just by using epic wild cards. So yeah, I am quite interested in golding out this Arash Imperium, but why? Well, let's have a look into this card performance. First of all, you need to know that unlike the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute, the Arash Imperium is quite floaty and it can take corners at high speeds without losing as much top speed as a grippy car like the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute. However, there is something the Jesco Absolute and this Arash Imperium have in common, and both of them can accelerate an absolute ton while drifting on a straight line, which up to this point was something only the Koenigsegg Jesco Absolute could do on this game. The fact of being floaty combined with the special acceleration while drifting makes this Arash Imperium a fair holder of the highest ranked car of the entire game title, since it has a rather massive top speed and the acceleration is just mad fast, which certainly surprised me, because it's precisely the extremely fast acceleration what makes a car harder to float properly. But seems like the game developers truly put their soul into this car, because it's a never seen before transmission system, combining the special acceleration drift, a huge floating capabilities, and a huge acceleration value as well. Because all of this, it's obvious that I do really need to have this car at the max stats on my garage. I might not be able to use it to its full potential, but if there is something I am completely certain of, is that I will definitely have quite a lot of fun with this car. But would I recommend trying to go for this car? Obviously not, because let's think about it, guys. Who other than me would be crazy enough to spend that much money just to gold max a single car on a video game? At least I can make videos about this car in order to show you guys how good it feels or not, but in most of the cases it's a nonsensical investment, unless you can truly afford it, that is. If you don't go for it, you will certainly miss a car which is quite close to the Genesis Venom F5 in terms of effectiveness, to name a closer car in terms of performance, but other than that, very few players will have this Arash Imperium compared to the grand total of the player base, so it shouldn't make that much of an insane difference, unless you are, an extremely competitive player seeking the top 10 positions on the leaderboards, that is. If you are a casual or just want to have some fun, I can tell you it's not that worth it. I am a casual player myself, but I am also a collector, hence why I will go for this one, aside from making videos about it, of course. Either way, now it's your turn to let me know your thoughts about this brand new Drive Syndicate. Are you seeking the Arash Imperium, or will you just stop before the final stop? Drop your massive like, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more Asphalt content. Goodbye, guys.